computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at
it. Hello, and welcome to episode 97 of Life Through a Prism with your host, Rob Tierney. In this podcast, we could look at topics including LGBTQIA+, disability, and pop culture. In this episode, we look at queer pop culture in the form of an article from qnews.com.au entitled Queer Music is More Than Sound, Its Strength, Its Safety, dated 26th of September 2025. When queer artists create queer music, it does more than get us moving on the dance floor. It lifts us up and sets us free. Coming out later in life, Craig Brown shares how the music of Ben Platt and Troye Sivan gave him a haven to be his authentic self. When I was straight, I never worried about safe spaces. I valued people and places where I could be vulnerable and called them safe. The truth is, I was rarely exposed to unsafe spaces. When I realised that I was gay, working for a church-affiliated NGO, happily married with 3 amazing kids, and with much of my standing and self-esteem immersed in the church world, I was confronted with losing everything. Those safe places suddenly didn't seem so safe. There was a 6-week period early on when I feared that if I spoke aloud my truth, everything would come crashing down. It was frightening. Even typing 6 weeks now, I'm aware that people are still carrying that fear for years, even decades. It felt longer than 6 weeks, I can assure you. That's when Ben Platt and Troye Sivan found me. I was at home, post my coming out to myself Schitt's Creek moment, hiding my life-changing realisation from my domestic reality. I heard the joyous opening notes of Ben Platt's Share Your Address coming from the living room, and was hooked. It was exuberant, bold, drenched in self-parody, and gay, so gay. Ben, that camp theatre gay, was singing to me, who didn't even know what theatre gay meant, and was yet to utter a word about his gayness to anyone. I downloaded his album, The Amazing Sing to Me, instead, with its lyrics about a man falling in love with another man, a man being betrayed by another man, lusting after another man, recovering after the relationship with, you guessed it, another man broke down. Ben's music became a safe place. I could sing his lyrics silently, as I have a terrible voice, and feel a sense of identity emerging, a sense of self. In my imagining of myself in those situations, Ben sang about I was finding who I was, and it was ecstatic and heartbreaking all at once. I'm listening to it as I write this article, and my heart is swelling and tears are falling. Then after Ben, Troye Sivan found me. His moody, youth-orientated music, yes, coupled with his dreaminess, spoke to me. His lyrics related his discovery of queer love, lust, sex and relationships. People have laughed at my attraction to so-called twink pop, but Troye's music reflected his journey of maturing into his queerness, just as I was beginning my journey. It was a perfect, hopeful and safe space for me to imagine my own experiences of newfound feelings and experiences. These songs became the soundtrack to my first gay kiss and everything that followed. Later, when Rush came out, celebrating Troye's return to the clubs of Smith Street post-COVID, it was a theme song to my debut on that very street. We were joyful together, for different reasons and in different circles, but in that safe space of shared experiences. I've imagined telling Troye this in a rush of words in the early hours at Circuit. An unrealistic scenario, sure, but I owe him and Ben, because they helped me discover and feel safe with myself and in our queer spaces. A man can dream, but those safe spaces are no longer a dream. They're real. On a personal note, for me, music has always been a large part of my life. Coming out of a homophobic church cult environment myself, I was always told that listening to any music except quote-unquote godly music was wrong. So I threw away all my music, burnt it, thinking that I was doing the right thing. Then when I left and started the long journey of rebuilding what I always found important to me, I went through YouTube looking for all the gay music charts I could find to see if anything was out there that I could enjoy and relate to. I found a new love for the band Queen and their music and Elton John. But coming across Ben Platt, which was one of the first new wave queer musicians for me, was like a breath of fresh air, and his song Older, which I found very powerful then as I do now, and his other music like Grow As We Go, and many others opened a floodgate of queer musicians and music I was told was bad, spoke to me and helped and continues to help through the hard times and the times of peace, and just times to zone out to like the author of this article. Thank you, Ben. I would love to hear what your favourite queer artists are. Let's have a conversation. Till next time, take care and bye for now.